As we continue tracking progressive soft-on-crime policies across the country that seem to be anathema to law and order, King County and the city of Seattle are at it again. And that's why we need to bring in our man in the Pacific Northwest, KTTH Seattle Talk Radio host Jason Rantz for tonight's lightning round. All right, great to see you, Jason. Let's start off with what's going on in King County, because we've got this thing we can put up here. Public defenders, local officials there recommending all kinds of things that if you commit these crimes or are accused of it, you don't need to go to jail or be held there because you might get COVID.
Yeah, so the argument basically coming from these activists is that prisoners are getting COVID, and on top of that, you've got some staffing shortages that we're dealing with at the county jails because, hey, we fired a whole bunch of people who were unvaccinated at a time we didn't have enough staff to begin with. So there's a little bit of a staffing issue for sure, but they're taking advantage of these activists because these are people who want to get prisoners out of jail anyway. They don't believe in bookings. They don't believe in cash bail. But when you look at some of the specific crimes that they're saying shouldn't lead to any booking whatsoever, we're talking about people who fail to register as a sex offender, car theft, home burglaries, those who have a fugitive warrant. So we're talking about very serious felonies. And, you know, you and I have had this conversation in the past. It's almost impossible to get arrested and then put in jail in King County, in Seattle. And so the people who actually are there, they have long histories, generally speaking, and this comes at a time where we're seeing another surge of violence. Last year was horrific.
Yeah, and one of the places is Seattle. Monday, a headline there says, data from 2021 shows a spike in homicides and shootings in the Seattle area last year. 88 fatal shootings and 372 people wounded by gunfire in the county where the Pacific Northwest city is located. Doesn't sound good.
Yeah, we have a 64% increase in fatal shootings. We have 56% increase in shootings. Nearly half of the victims are black. So when we talk about how police are the problem and they're the ones who are shooting and killing black residents, that's just not the case. The fact of the matter is, because we've defunded police to such an extreme extent, we've put this community and the entire community in danger. I mean, just think about Saturday. On Saturday afternoon, I think started in the afternoon, 36 hours later, we saw 6 separate gun instances, 6 separate gun shootings. We had a shooting this morning right outside of the county courthouse. This isn't stopping, and we don't have any political leader who stepped up and said, yeah, we're going to take this seriously. The only thing we're hearing from are the activists who want to keep people out of jail.
Well, there are other important things going on out there, though, in Washington state, including this state bill 5660. It was introduced for essentially making some legal kind of situation for magic mushrooms or the substance psilocybin. State Senator Jesse Solomon, who introduced the bill, says this: some people want to use it for their own self-exploration and betterment without having a diagnosis. Who am I to say they shouldn't do that?
Well, I mean, you are a state lawmaker who could choose to say maybe now's not the right time to legalize a whole bunch of drugs. I'm not even against mushrooms in the cases of doctors actually prescribing it and using it as part of treatment. There are legitimate data out there that suggests that it can be used for mental health treatment. The problem is that's not really what this is about. This is an equity bill that is allowing the state to set up these centers where pretty much anyone can get a license to give out mushrooms, including folks who just have an understanding, a deep understanding of the religious aspects around mushrooms. And so it just feels like now is the wrong time for that. We've had serious drug overdose fatalities statistics coming out over the last couple years. I'm wondering if we should be putting, more mushrooms in the system for people at our parks.
To the mix. Yeah, well, you see it firsthand, and we count on you to bring us the news from out there in the Northwest. You always deliver. Jason Rantz, thank you.
Thanks, Shannon.
All right, finally, tonight's